Hey buddies, it's Tuesday. I'm really confused because I wrote a list of things to talk about in this video, and I wrote pictures, and I have no idea what I was talking about. So, hopefully it wasn't anything important. Okay, so the amazing Becca gave us the topic of science for this week, which is interesting because I don't really know anything about science. Originally, I was going to talk about botany because that's the science that I'm taking this semester, but I actually don't really know anything about botany. I'm very confused by it, and I'm really just hoping to get a good grade in that class, especially since our first test is on Monday, and like I said, I don't know anything about botany. I know there's something about cotyledons or something. So today in sociology, we learned about these theories about population growth, and sociology is sort of science, I think, you know? But also, I did this last year in my geology class, and that was a science class. Therefore, I have decided that this is science, and this is what I'm going to talk about. So, there are three major models or theories for population growth. They are demographic transition, Malthusian model, and neo-Malthusian. To be honest, the demographic transition model isn't all that interesting. So basically, it says that there are 4 stages, and they are pre-industrial, transitional, industrial, and post-industrial. Okay, so as you can see from this graph thingy, during pre-industrial stage, right here, okay, these tell the rates of birth and death, and then the total population is down here. Right? You know what? I'll just read this to you. So during the pre-industrial stage, this is a agriculturally based society, and it would be, and there are harsh living conditions which lead to high birth and death rates. This results in relatively slow growth of the population, like really slow. Next is the transitional stage. So this is when you are industrializing. Technological improvements improve food, water, and health supply. Also, there is a sharp decline in death rates, but birth rates remain high. It results in a high population growth rate, like 2.5 to 3%. Most developing nations are in this stage. So stage 3 is industrial. The birth rates begin to approach the death rates. Stage 4 is post-industrial. This means that you've moved on from the machinery kind of factory sort of way of living into a service-based and information-based economy. Birth rates decline even further, and they equal death rates. This means that it's in zero population growth. A lot of European countries have entered this stage, like Norway and Sweden. The problem is getting developing countries out of the transitional stage and into an industrial, post-industrial stage. Okay, so the Malthusian model is this thing that was thought of by this guy named Thomas Malthus, whatever, in like 1789. So basically this theory says that the population is growing at an exponential rate, which is like in a J shape, you know. The food and resources of the earth only go up in a linear fashion. Therefore, the population goes too high for the resources, and then they can't meet up, and people are hungry and stuff. Okay, so what I'm saying, or what Thomas was saying, is that the power of the population growth is greater than the power of the earth to sustain that population. There are some checks on this, like famine, disease, plague, crop blight, and war, that could keep the population below the earth's carrying capacity. However, these things don't really have a big enough effect. Like if you look back at the population growth charts, and like when there was like the Black Plague, for example, there was just a tiny blip in the population. It didn't really like drop all that much or anything like that. It didn't affect it long term. So the solution to this problem of, you know, exceeding the Earth's carrying capacity is to decrease the birth rate. Okay, so next is the neo-Malthusian model. Okay, so basically this model says that humans began to overshoot the Earth's carrying capacity in 1980. So the Earth has been able to sustain the population, but at the expense of other species. Life support systems have been degraded, and other species have begun a massive die-off. This theory states that a human die-off will follow. So the solution to this problem of, having a massive human die off is to decrease human population, decrease consumption, decrease environmental withdrawals, as in the things that we take out of our environment, decrease environmental pollution, lead a more simple and frugal lifestyle, and the last one that my professor gave us today was prepare for human die-off. So I don't really know how you prepare for that. Maybe read all the post-apocalyptic novels out there, I'm not really sure. But I think I would rather do the other ones. So clearly I'm an expert in the field of science, but my suggestion for today is to look up this stuff yourself before you tell it to anyone else. Oh, and I get to punish JT because she was a day late with her video last week. Not that I'm super excited about that or anything, it's just I have that privilege. So JT, your punishment is to make up a theme song for Beta Buds. Okay, so I hope this counted. I hope this satisfied you, Becca, that I discussed enough science things. I don't know, my nerdiness tends to go more in the history or English direction, maybe. Becca, thanks very much for hosting this Monday, and JT, I'll see you tomorrow. I look forward to hearing of your science knowledge.